Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Chelsea and I am on vacation this week. We are in the mountains of the Shenandoah Valley in Macedon, Virginia. My family comes here quite a bit and it is a way for us to relax and unwind, and that is what we were doing this week. We have hiked and swam, I've gone for runs, we've gone for walks, we've just done a puzzle, we've relaxed and done nothing, and it's been really, really wonderful. But that had me reflecting. If you have followed my story, 6 weeks ago, I gave up caffeine. Now, I was not a typical coffee drinker, okay? I didn't have like my cup in the morning and my cup in the afternoon. No, I'm a person who, when times get rough or things are a little stressful, I drink coffee and caffeine and espresso drinks all day long. I would have cold brew with espresso followed by coffee from the pot at home all day, and it was getting to be a real problem. And I've really reflected after I gave up the coffee and thought about it. My whole pattern in life, I used to drink like those 5-hour energies all day and Red Bulls, which I haven't had in many years. And on top of just regular coffee to compensate for my stress my whole life. And there are times in my life, especially like when my mom was really sick and she was on hospice and I had 2 young children at home and just stress levels were up, I was like compensating for the lack of sleep and the stress of it all with coffee and caffeine, and it was making life more difficult than it really had to be. Recently, before I gave up coffee this time, it was just another where I was slamming back coffee all day, and I was starting to feel the weight of the world that I shouldn't have felt to the extent that I felt, because I was really putting such pressure on my adrenals with all of the caffeine. And that's when I realized that I not only had a problem with coffee, but I was experiencing adrenal fatigue symptoms. Now, adrenal fatigue, some people think it's a real thing, some people it is not. I think it's a real thing, and I think that I was experiencing it to the nth degree. Adrenal fatigue is where you are blowing out your adrenals to an extent that they can't regulate the stress hormones properly in your body. And when you're dealing with adrenals, I just want you to always think kidneys. When you hear the word adrenal, think kidneys. And kidneys are something that are super important, and you don't want to stress those. You want those to last a really long time. So some of the symptoms that I was experiencing with adrenal fatigue were the practical ones. The ones that I really noticed was I was waking up super tired, and with my diet and exercise, that's not typical for me. So I was waking up groggy, I was going to bed and wired. Like the sun would go down and I was like super awake at night. And even when I should have been tired, my body and my mind were physically very tired, I should have been tired and I just could not fall asleep. So that is another symptom that I was experiencing, and it's a symptom of adrenal fatigue syndrome. Another symptom which was odd for me is I was craving salt. You often crave sweet or salty foods. I don't crave sweet foods, so salt was my culprit. And I put salt on everything anyway because of my diet. But I've never craved salt since I've been on this. Like, I add it, it's not a big deal if I don't have it on there, but I've never like craved salt since I've been on this. And I was really, really craving salt, especially that week before I gave up coffee, when I was really I was on my way to being sick. I was getting the flu, but I was like craving salt, which was odd for me. Another thing is the smallest stress was becoming a giant mountain of stress. The littlest thing, somebody cuts you off at a light and it's just like the end of the world. So that was what I was experiencing there. These are the symptoms that I was experiencing. There are many, many symptoms of adrenal fatigue. You can Google it. There are some mechanisms that don't work properly, that you can kind of feel the symptoms. There's vitamin D deficiency, that is also a symptom of it, and cortisol regulation. Now, if you've ever seen like a weight loss commercial in your life, you've heard of the hormone cortisol, and it is a hormone. It is a stress hormone, and if that thing is not working properly, you will not lose weight. You will have a lot of struggle losing weight because your body is like caveman times, like a dinosaur is about to kill us. So it starts to store the fat, and it like panics and freezes. So if your hormone cortisol is not working or functioning properly, then you're going to have a really difficult time. Now, I'm telling you this because I think that this is really important as far as openness goes, is that it's another reminder to myself that no matter how good I'm doing in life, I am a person who is an addict in personality, meaning I can't have just one. Now, people have told me, you can balance, you can moderate, you can. Certainly, I really can. I'm a person, God has given me a great deal of self-control, and He showed me that I can use it and I can work really hard. However, when I am trying to moderate and balance, my life sucks. It's like I'm always teetering on this line of going overboard, and I'm constantly focused on moderating and regulating one thing, and it's too stressful for me. It is not fun. It's not a great place to live. I'd like to focus on my life and not these stinking habits that I pick up. So I am a person who needs to cut it off. Like the Bible says, if your right arm bothers you, you cut it off. And I'm using layman terms there, but it doesn't mean you literally cut off your right arm. It means that if something is ruining the quality of your life, you need to get rid of it and eliminate that in your life. So that is what I had to do with coffee. And it's also important that I need to be reminded that even when I'm doing really well or think that I've got everything under control, there are things in my life that I need to always kind of keep an eye on and always remember the root of my personality and how to work with that rather than make myself a victim of that and fall into really bad patterns and habits. If you are a person who can have a cup of coffee or two a day and be fine, then God bless you, by all means do it. But in my life, and I see this in people around me constantly. There are a lot of people that I love and care about, and I see them slam back Red Bull and coffee and energy drinks all day long. And when you're doing that to your body and your system, you're going to make your life much more difficult. So I want to raise awareness with this video. I want to tell you that adrenal fatigue syndrome is like a real thing, so give it a Google. And I also want this to be a reminder to check your habits and to check how you're dealing and coping with life. We all look for crutches and comfort blankets in life, and we can find healthy ones, but we can also very, very easily fall into unhealthy patterns. And I don't want to see that happen to anybody. I don't want to see it happen to me. It's really stressful when I have to give up these things and just completely adapt and change everything again. But that's life, and it's a constant, carousel of cycles that we have to get through and recognize our patterns so that we can improve and get better and have a really great quality of life. So that's all for me, friends, today. Thank you so much for checking in. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I'm really grateful for you. I will see you all in the next one when I am back home. God bless, and I'll see you soon.